Zero poverty in 2050. That's the right goal. Net zero 2050 is the wrong goal. In fact, it's a destructive goal. Instead, the world can and should achieve the virtual eradication of human destitution and energy poverty by 2050, if not before. Human destitution, poverty so severe that an individual lacks sufficient calories, clean water, basic health care, and shelter to simply assure survival, was all too common throughout human history. Via rising human liberty, empowerment, and the explosion of hydrocarbon energy, the percent of humanity living in dire poverty has plummeted from nearly 90% of humanity 200 years ago down to roughly 10% today. We should celebrate this tremendous progress, but 800 million people are still destitute today. There's an additional 2 billion people with very limited opportunities and shortened lifespan due to energy poverty, specifically the lack of clean cooking fuels, which means cooking with wood or dung indoors, suffering dearly from indoor air pollution. Ending destitution and energy poverty could prevent at least 10 million premature deaths from malnutrition, indoor air pollution, and easily preventable endemic diseases. In addition to the enormous life-saving benefits, energizing the least fortunate will also markedly expand the possibilities for this one-third of humanity born in less fortunate circumstances. Unfortunately, the wealthy world is no longer enthralled with humane, achievable goals. Today's energy and focus is all about net zero 2050, a goal that is unachievable and, frankly, undesirable. Even the economic analysis of the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change shows achieving net zero by 2050 would impoverish humanity to the tune of tens of trillions of dollars, meaning that the projected benefits in reduced climate change impacts are vastly exceeded by the costs of forcing a transition without viable replacement energy sources to provide secure, affordable, reliable energy. Making energy more expensive and less reliable is a surefire way to suffering. Energy realism is a precondition for humanism. What answer did the delegates at the 2021 climate conference in Glasgow provide to the one-third of humanity desperate for clean cooking fuels? Their answer was, hell no. 19 nations, including the United States and the United Kingdom, pledged not to provide any more loans to developing nations looking to build hydrocarbon infrastructure to supply clean cooking fuels, electricity, synthetic fertilizer, and other hydrocarbons that their populace craves. Can today's myopic focus on net zero 2050 really go so far as to stand in the way of saving millions of lives today? Really? If so, we have lost our minds and our moral compass. While we have nil chance of achieving net zero 2050, the increasingly strident efforts in pursuit of that goal are driving up fuel and electricity prices, destabilizing electrical grids, and stymieing investment in hydrocarbon energy. Hydrocarbons supply over 80% of today's global energy. They also provide synthetic fertilizers responsible for over 50% of global food production. And of course, the dazzling array of plastics and hydrocarbons that make the modern world possible. The biggest barrier to eliminating extreme poverty is today's obsession with net zero 2050. We can and must do better. We must put humans first, particularly those least fortunate, and end destitution and energy poverty by 2050.